SRUC.TV.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Regionals 2018 here in Strathalbyn, South Australia. This is the women's final. We have made it to the pointy end of the tournament. And now it's going to be all about the ladies. And who gets the #1 seed? Dunmole's going to pump it to Klein. She's not going to be able to bring that one in. So Ellipsis out of Melbourne, Victoria, going to have a crack here. Yeah, a couple of old South Australian players. And that's Lacey Jarrett. Holy moly. We're talking about names, and there is a name that has been around for a while. Speaking of another name, Kerry Justice. Getting in the end zone. Way to go. And that's Ellipsis going up a break. Steve Wright, see him the coach of, one of the coaches of Ellipsis. He was on screen just a moment ago. He, in the huddle before the game started, I overheard him saying, this is going to be our best defensive point. This is going to be our most urgent defensive point of the tournament this far. Let's go down and get the game started on the right note. So you have to say that his team has done what he asked there. Zig Theory had a very good tournament thus far. Sam Kayon, coach of Zig Theory, has worked some really good structures by the looks of it with the girls. Set up some good things that have really created a template for success. And here comes the Paul Ellipsis, going to be playing defense. Very nice ball there, inside out. It's going to go deep into the defensive red zone. Anting Hawk's going to come inside to Dunmole. Dunmole's got Rochler going. Doesn't throw, and there's a block. All of a sudden, Ellipsis, the opportunity to take an upper hand in this game. So they haven't got far to go here, only 30 metres or so. Nice swing out to that far sideline, quick flick from about shoulder height. Looks like there was a pick in the stack. Fairly predictable. The receivers are very close. Jodie Palmer. Oh, she's going to throw a high one. Brings it down. Going to look off that around. That's Chung with the frisbee. Looking. Oh, throw out into space. And a throw up the line. Looks like there's another call on the play. Kayla Dignam will send that one back. You have to bear with me on the commentary. We've got a Dignam and we've got a Dunmole. So I may get them confused at some stage today. Behind us, we've got the 3-4 playoff. Chung up the line, creating separation and scoring the point. Ellipsis dominant early. Turns and 2 conversions. Defensively, they are getting the job done. and Zig Theory find themselves down and with a little bit of work to do on offense. Forehand, very high release forehand. See Steve Wright, the monster, on your right of screen. And that's Zig Theory there. Sam Cowan in the red. Still in the line. It's a very strong line as well. Lots of skill out there. Stringer, Dowling, Thompson, Dunmore, Enting Hawk, Foley, and I can't see the Rochler. So I think their average height out there is about 5'8". So a very tall line. Enting Hawk and Dunmore, two of the taller players, they stand about 5'10", 5'11". Rochler's up there, and well, Danny Stringer, she's quite tall as well. I did notice that Ellipsis, they have some smaller players. Kerry Justice, of course, is a dominant force, both offensively and defensively, but she's about their tallest player, and there's a couple of others. Enting Hawk is going to punt it to Dunmore, who's got space, and that is, oh dear. What a throw. Sam Kayon dialing up the power down that right side, and Enting Hawk lets it rip. That is as good a throw as you'll see anywhere in any competition at any level. Beautiful, absolutely spectacular. Phenomenal skills by Enting Hawk. So she gets it, she step. You know, there was no real momentum there either. She's not in a power position. That's just class, I'm afraid. And for the rest of us mere mortals, we can only look on and wish we were as good as that. Because that is spectacular. But I don't think there's any more superlatives that I could use to describe that one. My vocabulary is running short. We'll move on, and Zig Theory do what they need to do though. You know, rough start. 2 defensive breaks. And now they've got to turn it up at defense. And this could be an opportunity for them to set a bit of a tone here. If they can fight back, if they can rally, level this up at 2-all, I think Sam Kayon and the leadership group for Zig Theory are going to be very happy about where they sit in this game. It's going to be a very, very well-ordered stack. Jodie Palmer. I don't think that's Leon with the disc. Gestures under, throws to space. And that's Edgar Griffiths with the frisbee. Throw to space. Oh, what a bid. Unlucky to not come up with that one. Enting Hawk's going to punt it again. Rochler. Enting Hawk just not able to get as much on that as she would have liked. Just underthrew it a little bit, it bladed over, didn't quite make Rochler, who was streaming deep. We saw yesterday how dominant Rochler was down the stretch. As a receiver, she was borderline unguardable. Edgar Griffiths, she's got such a great throwing style. Quick movement to Jodie Palmer, who's going to grab it. She's got the wheels. The high pants do it. Catches the point against her old team. Jodie Palmer, originally from South Australia. A little bit of a journey woman. Plays her ultimate around the place, and I mean any team at all in Australia would be happy to have a player like that. Yeah, nice throw, and Jodie Palmer just heading to the right spot of the field, knows where she needs to be cutting to. Brings it in, nice score. 3-1 with Ellipsis up early in this game. Looks like there's a few changes for Zig Theory. Enting Hawk has played a lot of points this weekend. I believe she played Savage in the game that we covered yesterday. And the look is that she's probably going to play Savage again today. That's impressive in the modern game. It's not common that you've got players playing Savage at the highest level. It's been a long time since that was the thing. More often than not, you see players rotating in, rotating through the line, role players just sent in with a job to do, you know, hold a receiver or make a cut, not to do too much. Clearly, Zig Theory are going to believe in Enting Hawk as kind of the heart of this team. This disc is going to roll out the sideline. Ash Thompson will pick it up and bring the disc in. It's a side stack, but it's being forced into the stack there by the defense. I think that's probably just a coincidence. Inside break. Looks like a foul maybe. Drag on the arm there by Lisi. I can't even remember if she's still Lisi Jarrett. I mean, I've been gone for so long. Yeah. Double pump on the throw. I mean, it wasn't in the same motion. I wonder about that one. Someone will have to check my rules knowledge. Dunmore unable to get that one. Kerry Justice. Oh, if there's someone you'd like to have the disc in the hands, 25 metres out, it'd probably be Kerry Justice. Long time Honey leader. I'm not actually sure if she was a captain. The huck's going to go out. Dunmore just not quite there. Enting Hawk willing to air it out, but unable to really put the disc on the right spot of the field. So Enting Hawk is going to have to adjust now, play defense. She's matched up against Michaela Dignam, who is one of the other South Australian or ex-South Australian players on this team. Dignam is a phenomenally fast receiver. Play to the world's level now. Rochler is going to get a block. She's going to go quick. Stringer unable. It looks like there's a foul call on the forehand of Michaela Dignam. It's pretty hard to foul a forehand throw. So we'll have to have a replay of that. I remain dubious. However, Enting Hawk's going to call that as uncontested. So clearly she agrees with the call. And Dignam is going to go under. Receiver streaming deep, beautiful looking deep throw. Rochler in the area, the grab is made. They're on the end zone line, Ellipsis. And that's the point. Rochler, 2 opportunities, unable to get either. Ellipsis now 4-1 up. Looking very, very strong and probably favourites for the title. Zig Theory have a lot to do. Enting Hawk's just gesturing, maybe we should take a timeout. Conversation with Sam being had, Sam Cowan, their coach. Looks like they are going to call a timeout. Great grab there, going up, and then the good throw. Not forcing the forehand, just staying with it, coming back to the backhand side, finding the open space. And we'll take a quick break here, have a couple of messages from our sponsors. I'll have a drink of water, and we'll be back with this women's final here at Southern Regionals.
If you're wandering around and not knowing
Alti.tv.
to look at, at the moment on field 3 is the women's final between Ellipsis and Zig Theory. Or come over and get yourself some food at the barbecue. There's also a cake stall, and the coffee van's still going. So, have fun.
Timeout is done. Ellipsis pretty swift with their timeout. They huddled up, they had a quick chat, and they were back on their line. Zig Theory took a little bit longer. Sam Kayon, I listened in a little bit to his speech. He emphasised the fact that Zig Theory, they're looking good, they're doing pretty well. They just need to do a little bit more effort. They're going to find themselves in this game. He also commented on the Ellipsis O-line, or the Ellipsis offense, that he said they just don't turn the disc over. Anton Hawk going to work out of an isolation. Rochler comes under. He's going to get the dump off to Ash Thompson. Thompson is going to go with a floating pass. Kerry Justice, awareness there. Spots that disc go up. She's going to swing to Edgar Griffiths. Edgar Griffiths, possibly one of the nicest throwing styles I've seen in recent time. Whoa, Ashby nearly gets a piece of that. Chung maintains possession. Edgar Griffiths just too far on it. Now with the disc in her hands, she looks very, very smooth and supremely competent in throwing it. Oh, nice break there. Thompson working the break side, combining with Rochler. Dunmore a little bit stationary there, then goes. She points. Love the point. We've had a lot of the point here this weekend. Enting Hawk is going to reset to Thompson. Zig Theory, great possession offense at the moment. Great meters to Dunmore, who's going to reset it, and she's going to huck it. Rochler. Who was that? An Ellipsis player intercepts a pass there. Klein was back there. Might be Chung. No, it's not Chung. Her name's not long enough. It didn't poke out the other side of her hair. Ellipsis now on offense. Oh, that swing. But there is a turn. Lacey turning it over. Lacey, long-time Sydney sider. Apparently has something to do with Melbourne there. I'm not sure whether she now lives in Melbourne. But phenomenal player. Australian representative a couple of times. I reckon she played Firetails, I want to say at least 2 times. Also has done a lot for the sport off the field as well. Her efforts as an administrator done a lot. She has been a fundamental part of the development of Ultimate in Australia. So it looks like we're going to have a pick call on the field, and Ellipsis are going to have a crack now. Oh, Edgar Griffiths has meters. See that reach and that step. Jarrett is going to let one rip. Justice has space on Dunmore, heading deep. Justice resets. Jarrett, open side, has space from Dowling. Jarrett's going to reset back to Justice. It's a phenomenal handler pairing between Lacey and Justice. 2 phenomenal female players that are amazingly gifted at the sport. And the old out and stop and prop, the inside throw. Edgar Griffiths, as I was saying, she is a very, very good thrower. So Ellipsis now 5-1 in this game. Zig Theory really struggling to find something here. We might have another timeout call. Looks like they're slow to clear the field. See Lacey with that forehand to Edgar Griffiths. And she points to stop the prop. Just see her disc position there. See how the disc is roughly vertical. That rotates in and she releases that forehand. And yeah, it will be a timeout. So we'll see Steve Wright, the coach of Ellipsis, just huddling with a few of his girls. Sam Kayon again having an opportunity to talk about it with his team. Definitely a learning exercise for the girls from Zig Theory. They've got experience, but it's not across a wide range of the team. They're not really that deep in terms of their experience. You've got some campaigners that have been there for a very long time. They've been there, done that. Mel T comes to mind. Ash Thompson as well. Danny Klein, Stringer. But outside of kind of a core of, you know, perhaps half a dozen players, the experience drops off a bit. And it's going to be a good opportunity for Zig Theory to start to figure some things out. Perhaps get some depth across their line. Get some of these new players blooded at a high level. Bit of an update from the game behind us. It's 3-1 at the moment. I'm not sure who's up there. And that's Outbreak Mountain playing against the non-WUC Melbourne Carnage side that went down to the WUC Melbourne Juggernaut team. So Ellipsis, they're going to break their huddle, head to the line, get ready, play defense. And while we wait for the Zig Theory team to come out and get ready to play offense, we'll make a quick shout out to the Alexandrina Shire Council. Great people hosting us here this weekend in Strathalbyn, South Australia. It's a lovely place. If you ever get the opportunity, you ever find yourself in South Australia, in Adelaide, make sure you come via the hills. There are some brilliant little spots out this way. Scenic drives, pubs, cafes, bakeries. Just make sure that you have 5 kilos to gain before you come here. The chocolate factory is actually up the road. I'm not sure if our viewers knew that. The Melba's Chocolate Factory, not too far from here. That's a good place to spend an afternoon and $100. So Zig Theory going to have an offensive point here. And Ellipsis going to be on D. There's a couple of Zig Theory players that actually haven't seen a lot of game time this tournament. I wonder why that is. I wonder if they're carrying injuries, or it's a tactic from Sam Kayon. See if I can ask him at some point through the game. But Ellipsis, Steve Wright at the moment's got to be happy with how the girls are playing. Him and his leadership group, they've got to be pleased with how things are, and how they're sitting at the moment. Dunmore with space. Enting Hawk, the linchpin and anchor of the defense. Looks like Edgar Griffiths has switched on. And the flick to the fat side, Dunmore. The win, just getting that, pushing it away from the receiver there, who is moving down the field. I believe that's one of the Foleys. So Ellipsis now, offense, upwind, such as it is. In and out from Jodie Palmer. Zig Theory, good defense thus far. Sideways cut. Sarah Lee unable to get there. Edgar Griffiths is going to get the reset. Nice throw to the far side of the field. Rochler, close as she can be. Ellipsis just working it with horizontal movement. And there's Michaela Dignam making meters. Oh, a very, very flat huck. It's going to fly down the field. They're in the red zone now. An opportunity to score. The throw goes up. That's Jodie Palmer with the assist. And that is 6-1. We see what Sam Kayon, coach of Zig Theory, is saying there. Zig Theory turn it over, and then Ellipsis, they just don't give it back. They almost need their own frisbee out there because they don't share. They must be all only children. And that huck, I thought she'd thrown that too far, but it was just a pinpoint throw, nailing the receiver. in stride. Jodie Palmer gets the reset, throws the score. Very, very nice stuff from Ellipsis, who are looking very good here early in the open season for Australian Ultimate. Come April, they're going to be up the pointy end of the field, I would think. They're going to be somewhere around the top 4, if not in the top 3. And Zig Theory, well, I think they're going to do well at the tournament as well. I believe they've qualified just by making it to the final. They'll get the 2nd seed. As we have some rain now falling on our equipment. It's decided to rain. And the tournament organisers, they've been dialing up everything here. So we had some sun yesterday, some clouds and some rain now. I mean, this could almost be a meditation track. Rain falling gently. Justice is going to rip this one. That's a massive pull. And Ash Thompson is going to let that one land. A little bit of confusion. Entinghawk's going to pick it up. Going to go to space to Dunmole. Sarah Lee's going to go. Dunmole's going to huck it. She goes with the lefty flick. Dignam is in there. Push and shove. They want it. And I like there's no call. It was tight. It could have gone either way. Dunmole with a great throw deep. And Sam, he feels it was close, Kaon, the coach of Zig Theory. I feel like I'm about to be mobbed here under the commentary tent by players trying to escape the rain. We might have to make some adjustments here shortly on our equipment. Edgar Griffiths finding some space from Entinghawk. The around. Dignam comes up with the play. Catches that frisbee. But is going to go back. There was a pick call. In fact, I am getting mobbed. Young man from Chile coming to join us. So there we go, back in. Ellipsis on offense. As the conditions deteriorate, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Ellipsis start to struggle on offense. I mean, they're still airing it out at the moment. Oh, there's a very flat throw. That one's going to go down. That may be the moisture starting to affect the throws. As the disc gets wet, it becomes harder to grip. Harder to impart that spin, especially on the forehand side. Some people are naturally good at that kind of thing, and well, for the rest of us, we struggle a little bit more in the wet. Dunmole going to move it sideways. Thompson with the show and the no throw. Entinghawk gets looked off. Space now to the break side. Dunmole again. She's aired it out a lot. She's going to move it to T, who's been working downfield as a receiver. She engages Entinghawk. The face mark from Edgar Griffiths. It's going to be a throw down the field. T unable to find the reset. And Zig Theory will go back on defense. The Ellipsis offense that has thus far been so very clinical and clean. They gave it back there for a moment. We're making adjustments. I'll keep soldiering on here as we have some tables and stuff moved around in the commentary box. We've got to make sure the electrics don't get too wet. I believe that's an electrician's corollary, that water and electrics do not miss. And there is a fumble. Zig Theory deep in the red zone. This could be an opportunity now to start a fight back for the girls from South Australia. Entinghawk's going to pick it up, working to Dunmole, and Kerry Justice with an experienced play, and now she's in a power position. She's got the backhand wound up. She goes shorter though to Dignam, who's going to pump the backhand all the way to the end zone. The Zig Theory defense is at 6s and 7s, and that will result in another Ellipsis score. Zig Theory going to rue their chances there. They had an opportunity to go down the field. They had an opportunity then to go from the red zone straight to the end zone and score a point, but Ellipsis go the other way. They're up now in this game and going to take a quick drink of water and maybe try and save some of the electrics that are out in the rain. Well, halftime is over here. Southern Regionals 2018, Strathalbyn, South Australia. And Ellipsis have taken a commanding lead early in this one. Did what we could to save the electronics. And if I start making a weird noise, I may have been electrocuted. Ooh, that throw looked like the receiver had gone in the opposite direction. That looks like one of the Meehan girls. Edgar Griffiths, that long, rangy throwing style. Nice around into space. Thrown to space, it's low. The rain, I would say, is definitely having an impact now on this game. We're going to see it deteriorate a little bit. If this rain keeps up, we're going to see the standard perhaps become a little bit lower as the defenses, are going to get a little bit scrappy, and the throwing is going to get that little bit higher. High release break to Foley. Palmer on the mark. She gets the force on, nice and quick. Sarah Lee trying to work the inside break there. Rochler has space. Iggy Griffiths is kind of just letting it go a little bit. Oh, Mel T, excellent catch there, sliding with the right hand, catching the frisbee. She looks for the reset now, going to break inside. There seems to be someone free somewhere on the field. Alexander's going to try and throw it. Rochler's going to jack it. That's something new, and ooh, Sarah Lee, just a bit of contact there by Lisi. I'm not sure if that affected the play. Oh, it's not Sarah Lee, rather. It may stay as a turn, yeah, it will. Just a little bit of a collision there. Nothing in it. Oh, okay. So the receiver had stopped running and Lacey didn't see her and just crashed into the back of her. That makes sense. Good no call. Edgar Griffiths, sideways cut, gets covered, but she works back to the break side. Great movement. She throws out in front, and receivers are streaming deep. There's the huck. It goes up, and Lisi is in the end zone for another Ellipsis score. They are running away with this women's final here today. They just look so good, and well, I said that the rain would affect the throws. The girls from Ellipsis didn't hear me, and they don't care. They're just airing it out. Lisi. Great cut there from deep in the handler set. One of the most dangerous cuts in Ultimate. Very hard to guard as a handler defender. Generally, you're expecting short, sharp, squirrely movements around the disc. And the 40, 50 meter deep cut from the handler position. It's just so hard to guard. So good for Lisi to recognize that. We'll try and go around the grounds here. Looks like 6-2 with non-WUC heads of state up against Outbreak. Outbreak season may be on the line here, and it could be all falling apart. So Justice with the disc. She's going to be pulling here for the Ellipsis defense. The rain doesn't look like the rain's going to go away anytime soon. I'm so glad I brought a jacket today. It would be a little bit chilly out there without it. So these players are running around out there. They're going to keep their core temp up. Hell, they may even like the rain. In fact, I'd go out on a limb and say that they probably do. In fact, they come from Melbourne. 4 seasons in a day over there. Raining 1 minute, pouring the next. Sunny the minute after that. And hell, may even snow every now and again. Zig Theory, Ash Thompson going to bring the disc in for the girls from South Australia. Enting Hawk goes out straight away. Throw to space. Dunmale gets there. Gets down in bounds as well. Enting Hawk, I think that's who it was aimed for. And Dunmale's just going to go in and out. Zig Theory, very direct offense there. They score 9-2 now, the scoreline. See again, Enting Hawk, that was the target, but Dunmale shows some great wheels and awareness. Tracks that down. Resets to Enting Hawk. And then Enting Hawk, just the confusion there. No one from Ellipsis picking up Dunmale. Very dangerous receiver into the end zone. And Enting Hawk is going to take that shot every day. So it looks like Enting Hawk will be coming off. She's not playing this game savage, not like yesterday. Zig Theory will be back on defense, whereas Ellipsis will be running downwind on O. And you can field a team that has so much talent and experience, and it puts you in a good spot in Ellipsis. I'm just looking right now. Palmer, Justice, Dignam, Lacey. And that's just the one I know. The others may have played in various campaigns. So Zig Theory now with the disc ready to pull. So yeah, a couple of different faces out there. Going to be getting some game time, which is good, I think. Experience, exposure to this level of ultimate, which is pretty damn good right now. It's been a class in how to play offense by Ellipsis. Pick call. The pick is something that Sam Kayon, coach of Zig Theory, pointed out in one of the timeouts, is that the pick rule is there for a reason. Seems like the Ellipsis offense are running a lot of rub routes, and that's not cool in Ultimate. I think they're inadvertent rubs, but they're rubs all the same. So the player getting picked has to call that pick though. Sam just giving his players permission to make the call if they get picked. Going to come in on the sideline. Not far to go here for Ellipsis. They are going to force it inside out. Lacey, great effort there. Just gets a little bit big on her there. She got up pretty well, got a hand on it, and it nearly fell to her on the second grab. So Sarah Lee going to swing it sideways. And sideways again. Oh, just enough pressure there on the disc. Taryn unable to get that under control. Justice now, far sideline. She's going to go with a poppy, dishy backhand of some description. And that's 10-2 for Ellipsis. After a little bit of a hiccup, they do end up running it in. This game is headed for an early finish here. Ellipsis just dominant at the moment. As we see, the dominator movement, that run, you see that run, you give it and then you go. Very common offensive structure from America when, a couple of years ago actually, they were running a lot of dominator, single handler sets with resets coming out of the stack. Seems like Ellipsis has certainly taken some of those ideas to heart and applied it to their game here in Australia. Enting Hawks back on the field for Zig Theory. And it's the Ellipsis D-line. They've done a wonderful job thus far. Put their team in a great position to take the #1 seed out of the South Internationals. The April tournament which we probably won't see weather like this in the Gold Coast. I mean, we might, but it'll probably be monsoonal, if anything, rather than these kind of summer showers that we've got here in Strathalbyn. It does get a little bit chilly and rainy here in the hills of Adelaide. It's very cold in winter as well in parts. Kerry Justice with a few words of encouragement for our film crew. Thanks for filming it. I mean, when you get to watch and record ultimate of a level like this, the pleasure's all ours, really. Enting Hawk's going to go inside. Dignam trying to poach off the under, and now there's a player free. The switch comes. Foley, there it is, in the end zone. The identification, Dunmore tearing it up and going deep. 10-3. And Taryn's just looking for somewhere to hide her stuff so it doesn't get wet. I think you're out of luck there, love. Dunmore goes back to the back end. Just a nice throw. Great identification there, finding the poached player. Foley getting in the end zone. She's going to get them off the field there. And that'll be back to Ellipsis as to what they can do. Zigtheria scoring a few points here. It'll give them confidence ahead of Nationals. Again, this modified D-line for Zig Theory. None of the big names out there. Biggest name probably is Rochler, who has had a very, very good tournament thus far. Dominant receiver. And talking about Rochler, it seems like Ellipsis have really made her job hard today. I think they really identified her as a very big threat to them, and she's had a rough game today. She's struggled to find the space that she's had thus far in the tournament. The pull is going to slide out of bounds. It's not going to stop and prop. Looks like it's going to be a brick call here. Mian will go to the middle of the field and throw this one. And Lacey just sorting out the separation of her stack. So it's going to be a pick call. I have to say that Dignam might have a big opportunity here, working against Foley. Good opportunity to potentially score herself a goal. Edgar Griffiths in space, looks for the around. Big pivot. There's no stopping that, I'm afraid. Unless you end up with one of those Robocop hands. Disc bounces. It's a wobbly one. Rochler gets a piece of it, and it falls to the ground. So Zeke Theory now, 80 yards to go. 60 rather. And a wet disc to boot. They're going to go out of the isolation side stack that they've got. They're playing on that far side there, working as a focus. Ryan. Thro's just going to go out of bounds there. Pass not aimed quite how the thrower would have liked, I would say. And it'll be Ellipsis on the sideline. Looks like Mann bringing the disc in. Oh, high release. I mean, Chloe McDonald is probably the Australian female best known for a high release flick. She's an artisan of the high release forehand. I mean, that was pretty good too. Man, just elevates with the right hand, unleashes that throw. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout here. Zig Theory going to huddle it up, talk it over. We're going to go downwind in this point. It's 3:11. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back very shortly with the conclusion for the women's final here at Southern Regionals 2018. Timeout now concludes. Just after the timeout there, I managed to grab Sam Kayon, coach of physique theory, and I just asked him, what's the message? He's still positive. He's just asked for a few adjustments on the defensive side. They've switched some of the forces and some of the ideas that they've got. So he's still, he's just looking for a good performance at the moment from his girls. I've got to say, his coaching performance thus far has been very good. Bringing South Australia to this far in the tournament. But in the timeout, we were discussing the previous nationals results for Ellipsis. I can't remember exactly, but the stat was they scored somewhere in the vicinity of 100 goals to 15 the entire tournament. So they were 100 goals in front of the tournament. And if you think about it, if you win every game 15-14, you're only going to be up 5 or 6. So they were winning their game somewhere around 10 goals on average. They won the final 15-3. The next best team in Australia against this Ellipsis team is 15-3. And yes, wow. Lisi just with a beautiful pass to Palmer. Dunmore bidding on that. You can see a bit of what led them to success last year. This Ellipsis Ultimate team is just phenomenally good at the game. Unfortunately, our second camera, our tech was asleep on the job. I think he was trying to wipe the rain out of his eyes, maybe, as he tracked that disc. Jody Palmer with the score. And Ellipsis now, 12-3. Theory, they can make this painful though, and I would say every point that they play is a great thing for them, a great opportunity for them to learn, develop, introduce some of these newer players, start to bring them up to speed so that in the Nationals campaign later this year they are, oh my dear God. It's terrible, it's terrible. Hi guys, and please don't zoom in on me. Anyway, so you can see me here by my lonesome. I'm focusing on the game. I mean, you got to stick my ugly mug on the camera, really, Mike. Come on, man. Save the people the pain of looking at my head, my rough nut. I mean, if I knew I was going to be on camera, I would have shaved this morning at least. And I think there's something wrong with your camera, by the way. They say the camera adds 10 pounds. I looked a bit heavier than that. Anyway, it's going to be a zone here for Ellipsis. They're going to run a bit of a junky force middle. And it looks like there's just going to be a straight up poach on Dunmore, who's going to cut deep. Yeah, it does. It looks like an assassinator, as we used to call it. So you send one player after their best player and then run a zone with the other 6. Dunmore underneath. Looks like it's maybe a soft assassinator. Enting Hawk's going to air this one out. Justice climbs up there. What a block by Kerry Justice. Oh, and she just throws it straight to Enting Hawk. He throws it away. It's turn and turn about. Here, all of a sudden, Justice with a great play, throws it by directly aiming at Ailsa Enting Hawk. And then Enting Hawk just turfs the disc. So the reset will be there in the middle of the field. Nice looking forehand into space. Ellipsis now, after a bit of a hiccup, 13-3. See here on the replay, Kerry Justice. Is that throw into space? Good forehand. And again, throw into space, forehand. Execution of the basic skills at a high level. That's what we're seeing here. Takes a lot of hard work to get to that stage. It's clear that Ellipsis have been working hard for many years. Most of these players, I think, would have been introduced to the sport of Ultimate a little while ago now, and we're seeing the fruits of many years of hard work, many years of practice. And maybe with work and dedication, Zig Theory will one day achieve the heights that Ellipsis are currently enjoying. But we'll see what happens in the future. Looks like Mian with the disc is going to pull for Ellipsis. You see next to her, organising the defence. So she's ready. Hitch up the pants leg and let it fly. That's a great pull. It's going to go into the defensive red zone. Dowling underneath it. The first pass is cut off by Dignam, who's going to go sideways. Dowling goes sideways to Taran, who dishes to Enting Hawk. Dunmore looks off the deep throw. Enting Hawk gets a very, very short reset. She points. She's going to engage Dunmore, who's going to look for space. Nice awareness throw over the head of the defender. Roessler works under. Enting Hawk again now with the disc. Thompson works under. Dowling as well, getting some space from Lisi. Thompson swings this direction to Taryn. Taryn's going to dump the disc off. Enting Hawk's going to go to space on the far side of the field. Zeg Theory with a very, very good looking offensive point into space. Beautiful forehand by Ash Thompson. And the scorer was Rochela there, getting the end zone. And this game has got some life in it yet. It's not quite dead and buried. We'll head back to the replay here. See the throw, Taryn, Enting Hawk into space, and it's just a very, very nice throw by Ash Thompson here. You see, beautiful touch on the throw. Doesn't throw it too far. Very easy to throw that one too far. The forehand with touch, one of the hardest throws to make, along with the 80-meter hammer. The no-look scuba. Perhaps for different reasons, though. I mean, the touch forehand throw is probably the more useful throw than the no-look scuba. But I never let anyone tell me that. No, a little bit of smack talk from Mike here. Just giving me the wood. No, I couldn't throw an 80-meter hammer, Mike. It's a pretty special person who can. Oh, very nice looking pull here. It's going to land in a very nice spot for Zeg Theory. He's going to be around the brick mark line. So Ellipsis now on offense. They haven't got far to go to win this one and put it out of reach. Mann's going to air it out. Dignam's in there. She's got it. What wheels? What wheels? She has tracked that down. Initially I thought it might have been too far. The look on her face was one of intense determination. And it looks like that's actually the final point here. I thought it was to 15, but apparently it's not. Man airing it out. You see Dignam off to the right of your screen, and all of a sudden she just closes the distance, and well, that's all she wrote. A great showing there for Ellipsis, and a lot of positives as well for Zeg Theory, ultimate out of Adelaide, South Australia. Both these teams will be looking forward to a Nationals campaign full of promise, full of opportunities. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the men's final here very shortly. And they've got a lot to live up to. The women have set the bar very, very high. And we'll see you very, very shortly for that game.
Alti.tv